All right, let's do this. It is part 2 of our kaleidoscope, and I promise you this one's much shorter, and we're going to have a little bit more fun with this one. So we have our 2 layers that are half and half, so we do need to merge those together. So again, to successfully merge just 2 layers, you are going to hold down Shift on your keyboard, click on the other layer. Make sure you don't click directly on the text because sometimes that wants you then to change the text. But then once they are both blue then, we can control click or right click, and you are going to merge layers. At this point, you can turn off the lock for your shape layer if it lets you. Let's see. There we go. And then you can trash it because we do not need it anymore. So bye-bye diagonals. Our other guides can stay. If they really bother you, you can go up to view and you can just uncheck the guides. So again, I went up to view and guide, so that turns them on. So it saves their place or turns it off. Okay, so now we have our beautiful 1-layer project. So there's nothing to kind of mess up and only affect one thing or the other thing. From here, we are going to play with color. So the first thing I want to show you is you can go under Enhance and you can go to Adjust Lighting. And let's see, I'm going to go to Brightness and Contrast first and kind of play with this. The whole goal is I want it to be a little bit more abstract and really look like a colorful kaleidoscope. I'm not so worried about like keeping my daughter's skin color the same or anything like that. I like where this is going. I like that the background pops a little bit more. The blue from here pops a little bit more, so I'm good with that. So again, that was under Enhance, Adjust Lighting, Brightness, and Contrast. So I'm going to say okay. And then I could do the same thing, and I could do shadows and highlights too. And you can kind of play with what's going on with the shadows, and it can kind of create some cool effects. I'm not going to play too much with this one. Let's see. Okay, I feel like that's in a good place. You don't have to do these two. It just kind of sets you up where before you even touch color, you're adjusting the lighting, and the lighting can kind of affect the color that way too. So I'm going to click OK. It's going to save it. All right, so now I'm going to go back to Enhance. Now I can go to Adjust Color, and I'm going to go to that Adjust Hue Saturation that we talked about last time with our 15-in-1 project. And if I do the master, it's going to affect the whole project. But let's say I just wanted to affect the blue values. So I would go in to blue, and now I can do this, and it's only going to grab anything that's got a blue tone to it. Now, I actually liked that the blue was there, so I'm going to keep it in that blue range. But now I'm going to go and I want to affect the yellows. I want to see what happens to my background. And my daughter's hair, too, because they're a little bit blondie. So I can have a little fun with the yellow. And I'm going to play with color. I like when the background pops is a little different than the blue. So I think I'm going to choose something in that like neon yellowy range. I kind of liked that the way it was. And then I can pull the saturation and I can saturate that color even further. Now they look like they're, oh God, now they look like they're on fire. Maybe I shouldn't go that far. So I'm going to go back it up a little bit. So the saturation bar is going to push that color even further. And then I can adjust the lightness or darkness too. And I can take away that color completely. Or I can make it a little bit more pastel-y. So pulling it towards the white or pulling it towards the black. Once you're happy with it, you're going to go ahead and say, okay. So you can play with whatever colors you want to. It's going to depend on what's in your photograph that you're starting with. If you have a lot of red values, or do you just use the master and kind of do everything all at once? Actually, I'm going to go back in there and show you what happens. So what if I go back, because I didn't really use the master, and now everything, I'll kind of just slide this across so you can see how it changes. So the master affects everything at once. I actually kind of like the red and teal version. That's kind of cool. Purple and green looks neat. So it gives you a lot of kind of things to play with. So master might be a good idea for some of you, but I'm gonna hit cancel. All right, so what are we going to do now? We've adjusted our lighting, we've adjusted our color. The only other thing that is left for you to play with is filters, and we haven't really talked about filters at all. So they're in two different places. So down here, right below where my little face is, there is a filters button. So you can press that and they will pop up on here, but they are also up here in here. Okay. And actually that's where I'm going to direct you to go. Is I'm going to have you go to the filter gallery. Click on that. And then the reason why I'm having you go in here is because this is kind of creates a preview screen for you. So you can kind of play with this the whole time and not worry about like what's going on. Oop, I'm going to make this bigger again. All right. So now you have all these drop down options and it shows you some examples of what could happen. I have some favorites. I like ink outlines a lot for this project. And then it takes a minute. It has like a progress bar down here in the corner. So you're going to be like, whoa, Miss Vance, I don't like that very much. Well, I can lower the intensity of some of these things. And maybe I just decide, you know what? Nah, I don't like that one. So I'm going to hit cancel. Whoop. I did not mean to do that. I didn't mean to hit cancel. I really didn't. Sorry, guys. All right. So in the filters gallery itself, there are actually, you can create layers. So you can layer up some of these filters. Glowing edges is always kind of fun. It's sort of a little bit of a cop-out though, because you can like not really do much else after this. So I'm going to pick a different one. And let's see, I'm going to make a halftone pattern. Okay. So I'm in here. So if you notice, this switched in the layer. Like I haven't saved anything, so it's all good there. And so you can kind of make a halftone. So halftone means like kind of how like comic books are printed. So it's kind of cool, but it does smash it down and uses one color. So it's kind of lame because you can't really, it kind of ruins whatever color you did. So you can kind of play with all of these. Ooh, this one's kind of neat. So there's different amounts of glow you can apply. I kind of like this glowy one. All right, so I'm going to keep this one. So I'm going to add a new layer. And then I'm going to go in and find a different one that I might want to use. Maybe this glass one. That's kind of cool. And so I can like make it more distorted or less distorted. Oh, and I can even change, let's see, tiny lenses. What's this? Oh, cool. I've never played with this one. This one's new. So you can get different textures and different feels on like what kind of glass it is. So this one's kind of neat. So I think I'm going to stick with this one just because it's different. And once I have finished layering up whatever filters I want, so I could even add another one on top of that if I wanted to. But so yeah, I would do that by doing this, but then clicking on a new kind of filter. What's sparkle? Who doesn't like sparkle? Oh boy. So as I'm watching this process, it's sort of a little bit creepy. Yeah, I don't know if I love that. So I'm going to trash that layer because I don't need it. I've decided I'm fine with where I'm at. So I'm going to say okay. So then it's going to adjust. And then after you're done, you could go back and say, not really wild about what the colors look like anymore. So you could go back to your color options and kind of play around with like the saturation and whatnot and see if you want to change a decision that you had made earlier. So maybe like I like it like that instead. Who knows? It's totally up to you. So it's your call where you decide that you are done. Okay. The cool part about Photoshop is you can kind of just keep doing that. You can keep layering things up. You could go back into filters and add more filters on top of what's already there. You can undo it. Like I could go undo my last two steps Because like I kind of like the original better than the one with the filter because I lost a lot of these lines in here. So maybe I keep it the way it is and I don't add a filter at all. That's completely up to you, but I would like you to play with them and make the image pop. Whatever tools in Photoshop you want to use to make the color or the lighting or the filter to help it make it pop, you do that. But it's your choice, it's your project, so you decide where your finished product is. Okay, so I'll show you the difference again. There's my filter, and there's the one I added after the filter with more color. I still think my original with just adjusting the lighting and the color was enough. I really like the yellow and those lines. I love that I'm pointing at the screen. You guys can't see, but the lines in the chair that they were sitting in, how they really pop. All right, so I'm gonna go to File, Save. I'm gonna make sure it saves it as that Photoshop file. I always wanna keep that hard copy. And then I'm gonna go to File, Save As. I'm going to change my format to JPEG. And then I'm going to save it where I normally save stuff. I'm going to say OK to the second JPEG screen. And now I have my project on my computer ready to upload to Artsonia. It will be here because that's where I saved it on the desktop. So then again, if you need a little tutorial again, make sure you look at my YouTube channel for that how to upload to Artsonia video from your computer. And I will attach it to your assignment as well. So it should be linked in the Google Doc with all the other tutorial videos. But in case it's not, it's on my YouTube channel. I'm cool. Follow me. Do all that good stuff. Have a good one, guys. That's the end of part 2. Hope you liked it.